So you heard me say before that I think it's important when it comes to the game plan and when it comes to the very specific way that we plan our weeks is to live in a 90-day world. Do you remember me saying that?
Yeah, I do.
And so when you know the game plan, it goes 10-year and then you walk it back, in 2-year increments. But ultimately, probably the most important sort of end game of the game plan are the 1-year goal, the 90-day, like what do you want to accomplish in the next 90 days, and then what do I have to do this week?
Mm-hmm.
And so, can you bring up your game plan and show me where you're at on some of this stuff?
Here we are. All right. Wait for it.
Okay, there it is.
You got it? Yep.
I got it. Okay, so goodness gracious, I gotta make it a little bit bigger so I can see your part of it because, well, I'm old. All right, so we're talking about the 1-year goals, the 90-day goals, and then this week. If you think about it, there's all kinds of science out there that will tell you that if you do anything, it doesn't matter what it is. If you start walking down a path, let's say you want to start working out, or let's say you want to read more books, or let's say you want to start looking for a new relationship in your personal life, something like that. You can start anything, and when you get to about 90 days from the time you start till the time till 90 days out, you start to lose focus on what am I doing, why am I doing this, and so you got to take a minute. And just like you've done with all the other things, and think about what do I need to accomplish in the next 90 days, the 90-day goals. And that is starting to get very specific. And you have in there, for example, the first one I'm seeing in business, successful campaign launches for the character company and counterpart OS. Tell me about that. Why did you come up with that specifically?
Well, that specifically for the business side of it, because those are two businesses that I'm involved with and care about. Then why they're good 90-day goals is because we're still sort of, figuring out the products and coming to market with them a bit. And sort of we've started for a few of them. But I think that it's not 90 days is a good time frame, where that's 3 months. In 3 months time from when I originally did this.
Okay.
Which would be, a few weeks ago. 90 days time seems like a good, maybe it's ambitious. I don't think it's that ambitious goal to get some of these products out and live.
Okay. And do you notice, and what day of the week do you review your weekly objectives? Have you chosen that yet?
Yeah, I'll try to do it on Sunday evenings.
Okay. All right. Sunday evenings, which is, I think that's the perfect time to do it, because you're winding down from the weekend. You're getting ready to start the next work week. And if you just and it doesn't have to take long, if it really takes a long time and you're really thoughtful, it might take an hour, but more likely 15 to 30 minutes for you to sort of do hit the reset button on. And that's it. Even then, you're still being pretty thorough. But in 15 minutes, you look at your 90-day goal and you say, what am I trying to accomplish? And then you walk it back and you say, what very specific things do I have to do this week? And it's so powerful because there's no drifting, right?
Yeah, no, there's not.
Life and not be distracted by dating.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's an interesting.
Tell me about that.
Well, I think that right now specifically, I need to like I think earlier in the year distracted by dating. I was like having that classic freak out that I think every young person gets, like, damn it, I need to find a good partner to sort of settle down with. Otherwise, it's all over for me. And so anyways, because I'm like, you know what, reasonably speaking, I'll find her when the time is right. And right now I should probably be focusing on, what I put there as my 1-year goal, level up, which I could definitely, I need to make that more specific. I guess it's always sort of in my head what leveling up is, but yeah, like to level up in the different areas of life, which are on this sheet of paper here. And through working on myself and on those things, I'll become the guy that that I would like to be a partner with. So
Right.
I would like to be a partner with me. That means that that's a good enough reason to go and find a good partner who likes that.
Yep. And it happens. I mean, every single relationship in its early stages is different, but very often it happens when you least expect it. And it definitely happens when you are at your best, being your true and unique self. And so I actually like this. Level up 1
Funnily
year.
enough,
What? Yeah.
This girl that I was talking about before. This was like totally like, yeah, I'm not focused on it all. And then out of the blue, she lives down the road, but she like coincidentally she lives down the road. She ended up being really good friends with two of my buddies here. And we ended up going to a concert together just as friends. And next thing you know, there's sort of something started to appear there, and I just wasn't thinking about it at all.
Right.
And I'm like, there you go, that's interesting. So as soon as I was applying the least amount of pressure, something legitimate sort of came along.
That makes you very attractive. It does. When you're just totally focused on what you're trying to accomplish in life, knowing that all this other stuff is going to happen and there's a time and a place for it, that's when it happens. And it's wonderful that you took the time to think through this. That's the part that I like it. I'm going to focus on other areas of life, and I'm putting that down as my weekly objective. Yes, that's another thing about the game plan is it should get better all the time. And so you could get more specific with what does level up mean, especially when you're sharing it with me, because I don't know exactly what you mean by that.
Yeah.
And you do. And if you're going to share it with somebody who's going to help keep you accountable, like me, then I want to see it so that I can hold you accountable. And really what I'm talking about is to encourage you to keep pressing. So, so again, the weekly objective is constantly remind yourself every Sunday, what do I have to accomplish in the next 90 days? And to reset that once a week, and then to really reset it again every 90 days. I mean, those reviews are really important for you to just sort of say, I gotta see where I'm going. And when you do that, you're never drifting. You know where you're going.
Got it. And so I've got two questions off the back of that. Firstly, let's start with the 90-day one. Is when you do that 90-day review, walk me through what you actually do for that 90-day review. Like, are there questions that you ask yourself? Are you sort of like, like how do you, I don't know, how do you mark yourself maybe, and how do you readjust if you need to readjust?
Yeah. Okay. Great question. Thank you for asking it. So first of all, I usually set aside half a day to do this. And it doesn't have to be that long, but for me, that works because I don't want to be rushed through this process. I want to because I'm living in a 90-day world, I want to make sure I've got the next 90 days well thought out, well planned, so that I can well execute it down the road. So I take a half a day and I start that day off by getting a good night's sleep before. I do it in the morning because the morning is my best time of day. And I'll spend the first probably 30 minutes going through my own form of reflection and meditation. So that prepares my brain. I have like a little manifesto that I look at every morning, and it has all of these motivational thoughts and ideas and quotes and things that I've picked up over the years that I just, and it's broken up into sections. Part of it is spiritual, part of it is mindset, part of it is motivational quotes and so on. And so I'll literally quickly read through that and just be still and be quiet. I think that's important because that gets you in the right frame of mind. You just got to cut out all the other crap that's going on in your life and focus on this 90-day thing. And then I look at my 90-day goals that I set last time and I just go through them one by one and I answer the question, how did I do on this particular 90-day goal? And I grade myself. And it's just I turn the item. If I did good, it's green. If I did okay, it's yellow. And if I did horrible or didn't accomplish it, then it's red. And so I actually go through and say, how did I do? And for those areas that I didn't do so well on, then I go down the thought path of why didn't I get that accomplished? What was it about it? And some of it might be very legitimate. I didn't get it done because something else popped into my life that wasn't part of my game plan, but now needs to be part of my game plan. And it took me in a different direction. That's fine. Just as long as you know that that's what's going on. And you made the purposeful decision to swap one item out for the other item. So far, so good. You tracking with me so far?
Tracking. Yeah.
Okay. So, and I go through that exercise, and now I know how I've done. I'm in the right frame of mind because I've settled myself to start with. Then I go into the review. Then I start thinking about, okay, now what do I need to do for the next 90 days? And in order to do that, I look up to my 1-year goal, my 2-year goal, my 4-year goal. I don't have to do a detailed study. I just have to remember where I'm going in a year or two. Okay. Yeah. And then I come back to the 90-day goal and I say, now, realistically, 3 months from now, where do I have to be? And I write that next item down. Or usually I limit myself. My own personal thing is I limit myself to no more than 5 major objectives in the next 90 days.
Okay, so you go up to 5. Okay, interesting. I always thought you only like keep it to like 1 to 2, but I like that. Move it up a bit.
Yeah, I think probably all of my game plan, I think I have 5 on every single one of them, and it just was easy for me to do, because 5's not too many, right? You can think about 10 is too many for sure, but 5, the 5 major things that you want to accomplish in the 90 days, that's enough, but it's not too much.
Yep, I like that. Okay, interesting. That's very, very helpful. The other question I had before was about the weekly objectives. Is that how do you actually? So this is one thing I've been trying to wrestle with a bit. And, I do every single day. I'll sort of write a list of, all right, this is what I got done today. This is what I'm going to do tomorrow, kind of thing. But how do you, like, do you go back to this every day and sort of just check it off? How do you stop yourself? I guess my question is, how do you stop yourself from, like maybe forgetting about these or something and just trying to like backload it to the back of the week, all these big goals?
Yeah. Another great question. Everybody's going to do it. You got to find your own rhythm. My own personal rhythm is I review my game plan every morning.
Yeah.
Not long. I'm talking 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And it starts with a very short period of time of reflection and meditation. Same thing. And then I go into, okay, what are my weekly objectives this week? And I look at it every day. And it's amazing how even during 1 week, when you're really busy doing all kinds of crazy things, you lose where you're at. You do. And the next morning you wake up, you look at your game plan and you go, that's right. I got to accomplish that this week. Or this actually happened to me this morning. I'm not kidding. So I woke up, I looked at my game plan, I looked at my weekly objectives. One of my weekly objectives was to do a good blog post for you. And I know it's due on Tuesday night. And so I got so sort of, the last couple of days busy doing stuff that I looked at this morning and there it was, reminding me, big as life, do the blog post for Ollie. And so I took the time to do it. And that it saves you. I can't tell you how many times that it has saved me by doing this morning review. Few minutes. If I don't do that, my day doesn't go right. It just doesn't.
I like that idea of the morning review, other than because I'd probably catch myself looking at it at night and being like, damn it, I missed that. And now I've got to be up for another hour and a half. Otherwise I won't be able to sleep right.
Right.
So it's probably smarter doing the morning review of it. But yeah, okay, that's interesting. That's a good story to follow it up. I'm trying to think. The last real sort of point that I had to ask is on your, so like this is the daily game plan 24. Do you, and this might be a question for every 90 days as well, do you sort of remake this every 90 days or every 1 year so that you can continuously track it, or do you just wipe the slate and sort of start again?
No. So it's another great question. Thank you for asking the great questions, by the way. So there's the annual review. Okay. So there's a weekly review, and that's on Sundays, and that's where you take 30 to 60 minutes on Sunday night in your case, and you review how you did last week. You think about what you got to do next week. You're looking at your 90-day goal and you're updating for next week. I have to do these things. Okay. So that's your weekly review. Every 90 days, I just told you I take half a day, right? Where I'm going to really focus on and get the next 90-day planning session right.
Mm-hmm.
So you do that 4 times a year because you're doing it once a quarter.
Yeah.
And once a year, I personally, and I would recommend you do the same, and maybe even longer, I plan a whole day. And this is where you review your entire game plan, all of it. You go all the way back to the beginning and you say, are these still my values? That's why it's an all-day thing. Has something changed in my life? Your values can change. And it's not that they actually change all that much. What happens is one becomes more important than another, and it makes your list, because you live by more than 10 values, or the 9 or the 8 or the 5 or however many you have on your list. I don't remember, but you have many more than values than that. But for some reason, one of them will become really important to you, and all of a sudden it will make it up on the list. You'll see that during your annual review. So I go all the way back to the beginning. I look at my values. I look at my lifetime goals. Has something changed this year based on all that I'm doing that makes me want to adjust what I want to do? And so that's an all-day affair. And it starts out the same way. I got to get my mindset right. So I might read something, reflection and meditation, prayer. All this is stacked up in the very first part of the day because I want to get myself in the right mindset. And then I go back into the review and I go all the way back to the beginning and I work through it all the way through up to including the 1-year review, the 90-day review, and the weekly review, all done in this all-day session.
Yeah.
Again, you just got to block the world out, Ollie, because this time that you are investing to do this work is going to save you so many distractions. It's going to help you make decisions. It's going to act as a filter. Things are going to come flying into your life. And guess what? They're going to bounce into your game plan. And they're either going to make it through the filters because they're aligned properly, or they're going to bounce off. It ends up becoming a filter for what you're doing. That's the power of it, actually.
Makes sense. Do you set like a like for this one day, these 90 days? Because I was just thinking about it, was like, wait, when, like, has it been 90 days? I actually haven't wrote that down. Have you already got set in your calendar, like every 90 days review game plan?
I do. Yeah. When on my 90-day goals, actually, if you see on yours the pink line, I actually put the 90-day deadline just on the next line, just below parentheses.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So for example, yours might say under 90-day goals, carriage return, and then 1 July 24.
Sure.
Is when you're marching toward. That way you don't forget. And so you'll know that somewhere around the 1st of July, if it doesn't fall on a Sunday, then you have to adjust a little bit. But you
makes sense. I get it. That, you know what, that'd be cool for the app, is like you get a notification every 90 days, like, hey, like this week is your 90-day sort of review. Make sure you log in and redo it.
Right.
Little thing. It's interesting. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, cool. I don't think I have any more questions off of that. Have you ever like, and I know we've talked about this before, how sort of you set the goals and they don't always hit the goals, but they hit something pretty good. Have you, any of your desired end states, have you ever gotten close to or like pretty much there for any of them and had to redo the desired end state?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's happened several times.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because things turn out, either you've gone in a whole new direction or you've accomplished it. You've done it and you said, okay, I can take that off and move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Which
is interesting. And you've heard me say this before. Life is way more about the journey than it is about the destination. It doesn't matter where you end up in terms of a specific accomplishment. What really matters is the person that you became along the way and how that's going to help you become a different and better person as you go forward. Because you will achieve these things. Some of them you'll take off the list because your life changed, your ideas changed. But other things you'll accomplish way sooner than you thought you were going to. And you'll get there and you'll go, that's pretty cool. I'm enjoying this. I can go with this, but what's next? You know, you got, and so you'll bask in that. You have to celebrate. Give yourself a weekend off. Take your girlfriend or your someday wife and take her off and enjoy, you know, a week somewhere, and then
Yeah.
come back and get on for the next major life goal that you're after.
I was gonna ask you, how do you celebrate your wins when you hit one of these desired end states? You popping a bottle of champagne and sort of
It depends on what it is and who's involved and all
yeah.
that. So it might be a team celebration. It might be my own personal celebration. But one of the things that Paul and I are doing actually this weekend is we're taking Friday through Sunday off, and we're just shutting down. That's so rare for me, and
Yeah.
I have not done that in such a long time. And she said, I got to get you to unplug and just be at peace and appreciate all the things that you are accomplishing in your life right now. And just let's celebrate. So we're going away this weekend to a really nice resort, and I'm going to shut down for 72 hours, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Wow. Good for you. I mean, you'll see all the I was gonna say you'll miss all my photos from Chloe's wedding, but I'll send them through on Monday.
Okay.
All
No,
the
yeah,
sweet,
send them through. I want to see them. I want
all
to
the
see them.
sweet selfies.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's good. I'm pretty happy with where we got to there, and I've got a few actionable things that I can go off and do now to make my weekly game plan better. So
Okay.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking.